Shares of cannabis company Trulieve shares failing to hold on to gains after reporting quarterly results this morning. It posted an 81% jump in revenue, but didn't turn a profit. Its first loss in 16 quarters. Kim Rivers is the CEO of Trulieve. Kim, it's great to speak with you again.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I want to talk about profits and specifically about margins. It was an interesting quarter in that you had the holidays, so there was holiday promotions. You had a different geographic mix because of Harvest, the acquisition there, and the geographic mix that changed things a little bit. So can you talk us through about where you see margins going forward and if the margin picture is going to improve in the industry? What is going to make that improve?
Yeah, so first, it's important to note that this quarter was our integration, hit. We closed the largest cannabis deal in U.S. history in October. So we did have significant one-time non-recurring charges that flowed through financials this quarter. If you adjust those out, our margin profile was extremely, I think, robust at 59%. We did guide to stability, margins over the next 2 to 3 years of 60% on gross margin side and 40% on the EBITDA side. We see significant margin upside as the year moves forward, as we execute on our strategic initiatives, which primarily centers around more supply chain capacity and pushing more branded product through branded retail across, as you mentioned, our vastly expanded network of 11 markets across the U.S.
Hey, Kim, it's Tim. Great execution and exciting numbers. And you're pointing out that the second half of the year really is probably the more exciting time for the outlook. But I would point to the excitement of today just around the sale of a New York license to Scotts Miracle-Gro Hawthorne folks. The East Coast is alive and well. You are everywhere. When do you make a splash in either this state, which has limited license access right now, or what's your next target market? Where do you want to be? Or is it about focusing on the market you're in? Because you certainly have a big footprint now.
Yeah, it's certainly about optimizing our existing platform. We absolutely need to realize the full value of the transaction that we just completed, which we plan to do throughout this year, and to build on the record year that we just had with 80% revenue growth year over year on top of 105% revenue growth the previous year. So we've got some big shoes to fill there. But to your point, Tim, we remain inquisitive. We had announced our regional hub strategy, so we've got lots of areas that we can grow. We're very bullish on the Southeast. There's a number of markets that are going to be turning on in the Southeast, maybe not as headline friendly, if you will, as some of the others. But look, I mean, we're still inquisitive and will remain inquisitive in the Northeast as well. We have a significant presence in Pennsylvania. We're poised to take advantage of Maryland market going recreational. There's going to be a ballot initiative there later this year. Connecticut, we have a presence. So certainly keeping our eye on New York and also New Jersey, but also want to be good stewards of capital and make sure that we're entering the way that is prudent for our shareholders.
The MORE Act, we have to ask you about that, Kim. What's your take on whether it passes fully?
So I think it definitely passes the House. I don't think we see any movement on the Senate until Senator Schumer and Booker's bill has a chance to be heard, which I believe will happen sometime in April. And then after that, I think it's anyone's guess, although it's time for the rubber to meet the road as we're in the face of midterms. So I do think that the heat will continue to rise, and hopefully Congress will do what they say that they were going to do, which is to pass some sort of substantive policy reform before midterm elections.
Kim, always great to see you. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Kim Rivers of Trulieve. Bonwin, where are you on the pot trade?
I like it, and honestly, I rely heavily on my man Tim investing through his ETF. I think, generally speaking, in terms of the overall space, it's really going to be a question about margins, and we see the Cresco Labs deal as well. It's really about vertical integration and penetrating into those retail outlets, and I think you're going to see continued consolidation within the space. But I'm bullish. I'm a firm believer in the overall secular trend.
What was interesting about the news last week was not so much that the more legislation was expected to come through and pass, and it will, and it'll be the 6th time that the House has passed federalization. So it's really, as Kim said, all about the Senate. But I was impressed that the Senate unanimously passed a bill to do research on the plant. And I think it provides a branch in, or whatever that expression is, coming in off the edge of it will give many senators the ability to actually get more positive on cannabis. And I do think researching the plant is a big part, and understanding the plant, of changing some of the perception out there. So cannabis stocks having another one of those runs where after a very difficult 9 to 12 months, I think you've reset expectations on margins. I think this is the story that you rightly asked about, Mel. And I do think the expectations on federal are not there. And therefore, I think this is a pretty interesting time.